Hi, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey, wherever that journey takes us. How are you? Tell me everything. How was February? February thoroughly kicked my butt. Um, I know there's a lot of. I forgot I had this in my ear. February had a lot of big stuff going on. I know it's not over yet, so you know, buckle in, stay grounded as much as you can. I feel like some people would probably be feeling things more than others. Um, obviously we all experience energies differently, right? But anyway, with all that being said, um, we're going to be talking about March-ish, right? I mean, really these readings are timeless, but I try to put them out on a monthly basis. Speaking of, I've only been doing the human design profile readings since I don't even know when I decided to do that. October is coming to mind, but I don't know. I don't actually know the last time I did zodiac readings. But as I was like sitting here yesterday, actually, like kind of, I went and found tarot decks or, decks to use for our readings this time around. And we're going to use the Sacred Rebels Oracle and the Tarot of the Abyss, which is a nice surprise because this deck usually tells me no. I think I mentioned in my intro the last time that I get consent from the tarot decks, at least oracle decks I don't, but for my tarot decks I get consent for readings before I do them. And anytime I pick up the Tarot of the Abyss, it usually gives me a no card, so I was pleasantly surprised to see a yes card this time around. So I also just think it's like kind of a cool juxtaposition between like the very colorful oracle and this is more like pencil drawings. So, anyway, that's my little thought process on that. But what was I talking about? Oh, I got this little flutter, this little thing about doing zodiac readings also. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to do human design profile readings and also zodiac signs. So I'm going to be using my little bowl to choose the order because it's just overwhelming to have to be responsible for choosing, the order unless I go in order, which, how heretical is that? Not very. So anyway, that's what the plan is. And obviously, I'll just be posting probably every day-ish until I get them all done. And what else? Was there something else I wanted to say? I don't know. But in any case, I don't. Okay, I'm just gonna say it because I feel like it keeps like coming up, and part of me is like, I don't want to talk too much about myself because that's also like my little internal wounding is like, you know, um, if I do share too much or whatever, that could just be because I have Chiron conjunct my sun. I don't know, but anyway, this idea of falling apart and being rebuilt keeps coming up, and I think it's also because that's been a lot of February for me. Is like on Valentine's Day, I had a migraine so bad that it actually made me physically sick, which I haven't had a migraine that bad since I think 2001 was the last time I remember having a migraine to the point of physically making me sick. Migraines, yes. I mean, when I was working my corporate girly job, I had migraines weekly, like every Monday, like clockwork. Sometimes on Tuesday, rarely it would like go into Wednesday if it was like really that bad. So yeah, migraines used to, but the kind that would make me physically sick, not so much. Anyway, that was the day that Mars and Pluto were conjunct, like I believe, right on top of each other. I believe that's what was happening on Valentine's Day at like 0 degrees Aquarius or something like that. Is that why? I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot. My point in saying that anyway is that there's a lot of planets that are all grouped together. If you watch astrology stuff, if you watch tarot stuff, I'm sure you probably just constantly keep hearing this because it's also a lot of stuff that like hasn't happened in a long time, right? So all of these kind of energies that we haven't really experienced in the past couple of generations. But anyway, I decided to change or pause a few things as far as work goes for me, but then in other areas there was expansion. And again, just like I said before and kind of got off track, is there's this feeling of being in pieces. But almost like like reviewing each piece and seeing like if that piece still fits in the puzzle, and if it does, how does it fit into the puzzle? Right? And granted, a lot of these planetary things are happening between my 8th and 11th house, so that makes sense for me. Obviously it could be depending on your chart, specifically astrology. It would depend, like on what area of your chart could be affected by this. So I know we're all in it together, right? And like I said, try to stay grounded as much as you can. That's a reminder for myself too. I keep telling myself to make like a raft and float. Just not getting stuck in a particular energy, good or bad. I'm also emotional authority, so like that wave, I have to just kind of remind myself too of the highs and the lows and the neutrals can change in a matter of seconds. I'm a Cancer rising, so oh my gosh, right? Like, girl. So anyway, like I said, I keep telling myself make like a raft and float because I don't think anything is figured out yet. I don't think anything is settled yet. We'll see what happens. I'm sending all my love to you, and I'm going to stop talking about me, and we're going to start talking about you in these readings. Bye. Great. So this is a reading for the 1-4 human design profile. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything to add at this point. So let's just get you an oracle card. Hopefully the card comes out sooner. Like I did the 3-5 reading was the first reading that I did. And it took 6 minutes of shuffling to get one tarot card or one oracle card out. So let's see if it takes that long for you guys. Most of which I cut out a lot of the shuffling because I don't really think people want to sit there and watch shuffling, especially if it's 6 minutes of shuffling. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh, no. So anyway, hey, it did not take 6 minutes. Let's see. It took about a minute. Maybe 2, most of which, again, I'm going to cut out all that shuffling anyway. What a beautiful card. Although, let's just put that there. I don't know. Like, YouTube is kind of weird about bodies. I don't know how to say it. I don't want to get flagged. I'm trying to actually build my channel, not destroy it, right? So anyway, it says every journey starts with a single step. I love that. Weird. I absolutely love that. It feels very like Fool card energy. I love the butterflies coming out of the suitcase too, because butterflies signify transformation, but it's like complete transformation, right? They go into their cocoon as a caterpillar and they come out as a butterfly, right? A totally different insect, right? Oh my gosh. Stop it right now, you guys. We have the judgment card or awakening in this deck, and look, shedding skin. I was literally just talking about the butterfly thing, right? And like, big transformations going on for you. We have the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Wands. Okay. It's so weird. Like, I meant to actually... well, you know, we're not going to do it now. But as I was doing the 3-5 reading, I noticed that there were some cards were reversed, and I don't shuffle reversals into my decks. If cards come out reversed, I keep them that way. But otherwise, that's the exact amount of cards that we need. We have the Wise One, the Page of Swords, and Page of Cups. And then the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. Okay, let me make sure that everything is in frame, and then we'll start talking about you. Talk about a journey here. All of these cards right here, these 4 cards, are literally, we can see on the cards themselves that they're on a journey, right? These 2 cards, though, it's almost like there's clearly something that is going to change for you. And it's either your own personal growth, it's got to be, it has to be, because of these cards. But it is going to set you on this path, this journey, right? Every journey starts with a single step. I love that there's also so much energy like around their crown, like around their head up here. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus on this. They literally packed their bag, but it's almost like this feeling of venture, like craving something new, possibilities, imagination. Even like I was saying up here, it's again like this feeling of keeping an open mind, allowing yourself to be guided or placed exactly where you need to be. There's even, you know, since they are in their birthday suit, if you will, there is this there is this feeling of vulnerability. So let's just start with my nose has been going crazy in these readings, so I apologize. Another thing too is I'm getting over, I think it's a cold. I don't actually even know. So if I'm breathing weird, I never actually felt all that bad. Last night I did for like just a couple hours, but I never actually felt that bad. I definitely felt like I was fighting something off. It feels like it's in my chest though, and I've been doing some little holistic things for that, but I'm trying not to take too strong of a breath to where like I start coughing or something. So anyway, if I'm breathing weird, that's why. If I start coughing, that's why. I apologize. So the Judgment card is called the Awakening card in this deck, and they are literally shedding their skin. They've already shedded their skin, actually. So it's not even in the process of, you're already out of it. And there's 2 reasons to shed a skin, right? 1, growth. You just no longer fit in the proverbial skin that you're in, right? You've outgrown an identity, a behavior, a pattern, a friend group, a peer group, whatever it is. Or the other reason that came to mind during the 3-5 reading, because that card came out too, is to regenerate or like replace something that was either injured or lost or damaged in some capacity. Because I gave this example, there's a guy on TikTok called Venom Man 2.0 or something, and he has a ton of snakes, a ton of spiders, none of which I thought I would ever enjoy watching, but I do. And he had this spider that lost one of her fangs in one of the cutouts of this container she was in. And he's like, I just have to keep her alive. She uses her fangs to eat, obviously, right? So he was like, I just have to keep her alive until she sheds her skin again, because she'll regenerate that fang. And sure enough, she did. So again, right, there's at least, I mean, maybe there's more reasons to do that, but I'm thinking snakes shed their skin, spiders. I'm sure there's other things that I can't think of, but the purpose in doing so is because you've outgrown the skin. You are growing. Or again, to replace something that was damaged, injured, whatever. And the judgment card is a card that comes right before the world card. We actually have the world card back here, but the world card is the end of a cycle. But that ending is possible because you recognize like how this journey has transformed you in some capacity. The Fool's journey, right? We start with the Fool card, which is that single step, because the Fool decided to just go for it. And then we work our way from 0 to 21, which is the World card. And it's all those experiences, all those lessons, the love found, the loss, the grieving, the ups and downs, the everything in between. And it's recognizing how those things have transformed you. So this is that literal information with the judgment card. And then we have it paired with the Hierophant, which in this card is the wise one. And the Hierophant has to do with knowledge. It's even like this passing along of knowledge. Like that's why it usually pertains to traditional institutions like college or school. It could be marriage, because that's generally a traditional type of thing, a traditional practice. It can also be religion. This looks like a Native American person, and maybe he's teaching these two some technique here with a fire, but it's again, it's this passing along of knowledge. It could be a teacher, you could be a spiritual teacher. It doesn't necessarily have to do with spirituality. It can, of course, but you know, I mean, it's being a mentor too. If that's the case, you could either be now my eyeball is itching like crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I just want to take it out. It's itching so bad. All of a sudden. You could be meeting a mentor. You could be becoming a mentor. You have that first line too. So your first line is all about investigation, right? It's this thirst for knowledge, and you know, like your sense of security comes from what you know, like your knowledge base on a certain subject. And then that fourth line, the opportunist line, is all about the community and bringing that knowledge, what you've researched, that foundation of knowledge, it's bringing that to your community in some aspect. So this could even be, every journey starts with a single step. It could even be, you know, like discovering this worth within yourself, that you are a leader. You do know your stuff, right? And you have the capacity to teach other people or mentor other people in some capacity to help them. And then, like I said, these cards start kind of talking about that journey. So the Knight of Pentacles Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our physical time. How are we spending our physical time? Where are we physically showing up in our lives? It's also our physical body, our health, our lifestyle. But it's like anything in the 3D. So it's your possessions. It's anything that you put value and worth on. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the whole deck. So it does come with this energy, this requirement almost to dedicate yourself and commit yourself to the path, because it's recognizing that in order to build something, in order to get from one point to the next point, you have to keep taking those steps, right? It takes a single step to get started, but then you have to continuously make the decision to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. This knight is walking alongside their horse, which is also probably slowing them down, just in the sense of, like I said, the knight is the slowest moving knight in the whole deck. It's like they have the key around their neck, if you can see that. So they're not worried about how fast. It's like that whole, what's that saying? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey thing. That's coming to mind, because it's like you already have the key. Whatever that key goes to, it's not going anywhere, because if it's for you, it'll be there. And it is for you because you have the key for it. So don't worry about how much time it takes to get there. You're not going to get there, though, if you don't take that first step. So commitment, dedication. Also, even too, like knowing that you are going to have to be dedicated to the thing, you are have to be committed to the thing. It's like not allowing the potential slowness to equate to failure or success. Like not attaching an expectation, not attaching a time limit, even. Like, just because, like, if something doesn't go as fast as you want it to, or whatever, it's like don't see that as being failure, because this is clearly something that is going to take, or it's just going to take a little bit more time. That's not bad. It's just something to be aware of. And then we have the Page of Swords. It's almost too like, with these two together, it's like an idea is going to take time to like unfold or to actualize, maybe. Because in the Page of Swords, we have this orb up here, and it's like, is that the idea? Is that the focus? But whatever it is, it's like separate from you, right? And this person is kneeling there, and they have a body language, they have a stance of being open, even vulnerable, like I was saying with the oracle card here. But pages are new-ish, like they're the apprentice type of energy. They're usually seen as like young children, in the sense of, I mean, there could be a young child around you, but just in the sense of, you don't have all the information yet. You don't know everything yet, right? Like there's even this book on the floor. Again, even going back to the first line thing, right? Like researching, which granted, that doesn't necessarily have to be that you're like sitting around reading books, or you're at the library, or you're in school, or, I mean, you can be with the wise one, but I always just try to make that distinction, because I'm not the type of person that like learns very well by reading. Like I can listen. I'd rather listen to a book than read it, type of thing, I do better learning that way than any other way. So again, but it's the energy of that, like researching. And it's kind of like, okay, so you have this knowledge base, But then there's this like there's this idea, this something that's just kind of floating around you, right? And they're holding the Ace of Swords. So there's already been an idea. It's just a matter of that idea like floating into your consciousness. And that could be why these two are paired together, because it's going to take a little bit of time for it to do that. There's also this maze behind them. Swords have to do with our mind. It is our thoughts, it's ideas, it's truth and honesty. So it could even be discovering a new truth about yourself, getting brutally honest with yourself too. But I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by like the stories that we attach to experiences, feelings, people, places, things. And it's the reason why we do things. It's also the reason why we don't do things. So again, right? And it's even like they're focused on this. I keep wanting to call it like an idea. It's like this light bulb moment, right? But like that light bulb moment is going to come from you continuing to move forward. We have the Two of Wands. Wands are the actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion, like how are you communicating those things? What actions are you taking towards those things? And I also see wands as being information, because that's what we get by trying things, right? We learn what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, what fits, what doesn't, right? So we've already had the Ace of Wands show up. I know it's not on the table, but to get to the Two of Wands, there had to have been an Ace of Wands, right? So that Ace of Wands is like that spark, that, something new showing up that we're very excited about, that we want to take action towards. And the Two of Wands is planning now. It's like, okay, I have two wands here, but like, what possibilities are there? What actions could I take towards these things? Even, they're looking towards the future, planning for the future. And especially with it coming after the Page of Swords, it could even shift a focus for you. Whatever the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Swords ends up being, it could either open up possibilities for you, or it's almost like you're like, what do I actually want to do with this thing? What would be the best course of action for this thing, right? It could actually even be waiting. Again, it's so interesting. There's this like there keeps being this like recurring feeling of forward momentum, but then waiting. It's like, okay, okay, I don't even know why this analogy is coming to my mind, but when somebody like speeds around you in a car, but the light turns red, so it's like you just got to the light faster than I did, good for you. Type of thing. It's like it has this feeling of like this movement forward, but then waiting. Movement forward, but then, waiting. Because we have this movement forward with a Page of Pentacles, like things are moving forward slowly. And then with this Page of Swords, it's like waiting for whatever this orb is to like drop in fully. And, having to go through this maze, because I believe, if I remember correctly, there's the Ace of, it's in reverse. Once we get to the King of Swords, which is not anywhere close to the bottom of the deck, but once we get to the King of Swords, I believe they're holding the orb. So it's like, and they're on the other side of the maze. So again, there's this feeling of moving forward, but then having to go through this maze in order to figure out what this thing is. this guy is like looking out over the horizon, right? Because I mean, I don't know, this back here could be water, like on the right side of this card. I don't know. I think I'm maybe just attaching that because we have the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups is clearly on a boat. There's this, like, treacherous water here. It's crazy. So it's like this Two of Wands is like, it's almost kind of like they're keeping an eye out for this ship to come in. So bear with me here, okay? So again, this movement forward, but then waiting for something to drop in, waiting for this boat to, waiting for your ships to come in. They're like, I'm gonna try to see if you can see that. Hopefully, I can't see the camera up there, so I don't know. But they're holding their cup here, and it looks like, I mean, the liquid is just, swirling around, but they're focused on the journey, right? Like there's this map on the ground, and they're still focused, even though, I mean, have you seen those videos on TikTok too? I mean, granted, okay, TikTok is where I spend most of my social media time. And there's those videos every once in a while about like the North Sea or something, and it's literally videos of the water being like this and ships going through it, which is just insane to me. But they're holding their Ace of Cups there, and it's like, even just this vibe of a lot, cups have to do with our emotions, how we feel about ourselves, our lives, the people in it. It's allowing ourselves to be led by our heart, being led by how we're feeling. So there's two pages on the table here. One of them, they're already holding the Ace of Swords. This one, they're holding their Ace of Cups. So it's like your mind and your heart are set on something. And then the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, talk about talk about dedication, because the Strength card talks about like inner strength, determination, perseverance, sticking with it, right? We have the Knight of Wands, harnessing there's this little flame that they have in their hand. So it's like, whatever it is that is coming in, it could even just be recognizing what it is that drives you. What is this flame, right? Like what's the point? Like what is it that gets you going? And then we have the World card. Even the snake thing, like I was talking about, shedding skin. Even, with that, there's this incubation type of vibe going on here with this infant, this, looking through the keyhole. Not to mention, the Knight of Pentacles has a key. So it's like, literally, I'm getting this feeling of like finding something within yourself, unlocking something within yourself. And maybe that has to do with inner child. There's clearly a rebirthing happening here, but this is like, this feeling of looking within. Even just the figure 8, it's like a never ending, this eternal, infinite shedding. We have the Ace of Cups. Like I said, it's in the reverse though, which is weird, because like I said, I don't shuffle reversals. I'm getting this feeling though, it's like rediscovering something. Not that there's gonna, because aces are usually something new, it's like a brand new beginning, but with it being in the reverse, it's like rediscovering something that was already there, purposing. This almost looks like a C, like the letter C. That's kind of interesting. The Chariot, I'm gonna flip that. The Chariot is moving forward very quickly. It's Cancer, so it's also water. They're now above the choppy water. It's like, this divine guidance. It's like being carried, being being guided to exactly where you're needed. The Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.